Good morning. What's up, everyone? This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't base anything I say out these videos. I'm just doing it for pure entertainment purposes only. That being said, I just want to jump in just in case y'all see the hat. Just remember, I coach a little league team, the Cowboys, so don't get it twisted. I'm still a Denver fan, but not a very proud Denver fan right now. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to show that off right now because we don't want to talk about football, okay? Football, we don't talk about football. So if you're a Broncos fan, you don't want to talk about it no more, all right? Let's jump into it. So, a couple things I want to go over. It's kind of the same shit I always say. The OBV buy pressure is still over heavy compared to sells. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that, you look at like Finger or GTII, the people are kind of pumping that one right now, and it's not like all of a sudden a new play. Like if it's like, oh, we're gonna get in and it's gonna jump. No, they've been around for a minute. Finger had a pump last year, I believe. I'm still in it from that pump. I bought in back then, and then I just wrote it out. I haven't put anything in for a while. I had kind of looked at Finger as a long-term hold if it didn't. I kind of looked at it like a long-term hold if it didn't pump to like a few $100, $1,000, something like that a share. And looking at it now, I just don't see how it's going to get there. I think if we get over $100 in Finger or something, we might consider pulling some, but who knows. But what I wanted to point out is Finger, GTII, plays like that, that you've probably been in, and those aren't the only two. There's just two that come up to my head because people talk about them. There's other plays that you probably do personally. And you'll see little pumps, you know what I mean? They'll bump up, a significant amount, maybe a buck or two in a few days, and then they, dwindle back down. But like with AMC, and those usually come after good news for the company. With AMC, good news for the company, you might get like a half a day or a day of, like a half a dollar, 50 cent, 30 cent, whatever rise, and then right back down, plummet. And with any bad news that they deem bad, they'll quote unquote, they'll drop the shit like crazy. So these are things that encourage me because it just shows to me personally that it's being manipulated. And I just personally, I 100% believe that it can't go on forever. I believe that, yes, there's crooked people, and I know people talk about hedge funds and working with each other or whatever, and I do agree with some of that, but at some point there's big fish on our side as well. There's big fish that are lending this out, that are at some point something's going to happen and they're going to need their money or whatever the case is, and they're going to have to turn to the hedge funds that they're helping now and say, hey man, this ain't working. We've given you a plenty of opportunity. I'm going to need you to cover this, and when that happens, we'll be right here ready to fucking eat. You know what I mean? So the thing is, I'm sure all of you have had this happen too. Like if you've ever had a stock for a long time and you decide to sell, and then all of a sudden, like the next day it jumps like 15, 25, 30%, whatever it is. And you're going, oh my God, I've held this thing for 6 months and nothing's happening as soon as I sell. And I don't want that to be me in AMC, because with AMC, it's going to be a rocket and you ain't going to be able to get back in. I can almost 100% guarantee. I don't know, like I said, no factual evidence. I'm not a financial advisor. But when this thing pumps, if it pumps to the numbers that many of us have talked about or considered, or if it pumps realistically with the synthetics and everything's just going crazy, there ain't no way you're getting back in. You're not going to be able to buy it back in. They will figure out a way to just let it slip. They're going to let it fly. And then the only thing we have at that point to fight is, maybe these institutions that have got in with huge amounts. And they're probably going to jump out, with gazillions of dollars when it barely jumps. But for the average dudes like me that are waiting for these big numbers, and that's the thing too, is once this thing flies, who knows what people are going to do? Like, how are they going to handle it? Are you going to be able to handle seeing a $300 increase and a $300 drop within, a day? Like, so let's say, oh my God, it's at $600 this morning, and then by 2 p.m. close, it's at $300. People are going to go, oh my God, I got to sell, So For me, I've mentally prepared myself for this shit, not to just jump out without seeing the numbers I want to see, especially after the reverse split. Um, we hit $1,000, I might consider dumping a couple, but I still think that 3 to 5K is a sweet spot. If it jumps past those, and I know people are like, oh, it can't do that. Oh my God, you don't know the stock market, because I've seen numbers like there's stocks out there that have hit upper thousands that are still floating around in that range. And with the amount of money that is loaded into this thing, it easily could hit up in those upper thousands. Now, will they let it? And I don't mean manipulate it. I think when it runs, it's going to run. But the only way they can handle it back at that point is, I think maybe, big institutions that got tons of shares. So when they see a big spring, they can drop a bunch, and it might kind of level it out. And then when a bunch of apes are looking at like, oh my God, I got to get out because they haven't mentally prepared themselves, that could be about the only issue. But still, at that point, man, if we're running in the thousands, I think we'll all be happy. So these are just my thoughts, man. I do believe we're not extremely close, but we're not extremely far. I don't think we'll go another year or two in this, but if it does, I'll be right here loading up, because until this is resolved one way or the other, I'm in. So have a good day, be blessed, and hopefully we get rich soon. Peace.